Alexis Jacobson.
I'm Natalie Dijon. Welcome to the Production Desk,
a podcast about the people and process of animation production. So this is our first official episode, which is very exciting. We've been working on this since July of last year, and it's gone through various iterations and names. I believe we used to call it production therapy at one point. And then after a lot of coffee and brainstorming, figuring out the best way into everything, we settled on the production desk. Natalie and I are both perfectionists and want to do the subject proud. We are both taking a leap of faith that we're ready to dive in after all these months and that we'll continue to iron out the kinks as we go. One of the things I've been told most often in my career is you learn by doing and just diving in. And sometimes I always seek forgiveness later. We're wanting to start each episode with a slice of production life.
and we thought it would be fitting to start with the relatable long hours of story edit life when you're working toward a screening.
I don't know if you find this too, those nights when you have plans after work, the nights where you have nothing, you always get off on time or early. And then, of course, always the night where you have to get out by a certain time, you're always running late.
Yes. Well, especially working in editorial. I always plan on not having a life for the weeks leading up to a screening if you're doing edit.
It's so true. You're like, goodbye, world. It feels like Vegas. Was it light today? I don't know.
But it's also a great excuse if you don't want to hang out with people. You're like, well, I'm at work. I don't know what to tell you.
That is a great one. And yeah, when I get into the crunch mode, it is just so much less stressful just to be like, here are the meals planned. I just want to sit with my cats and husband, watch some very fluffy TV and stop thinking when I walk in the door after a whirlwind of a day.
That's perfect. It's the perfect evening.
It really is. A colleague put this in perspective recently. He's like, you're an APM on your show, and there's 3 APMs on your show total. Think of how many movies are greenlit at this studio, then think of how many around the country, the world there are. And so approximately you have 150 associate production managers around the world working in animation. It's so niche. It's such a unique skill set. I feel like we have such an interesting insight to film production. A lot of us have experience in live action post animation. So it's just kind of a cool thing just to have that opportunity to share about or part of the industry that it's often not very talked about. When your parents ask, what do you do on a daily basis? It's a hard thing to vocalize. So it's kind of a neat opportunity to be able to kind of shine a light on production, who are the unsung heroes, in my opinion, of film across the board and TV production. Anything that is being made, you have a production person on some level killing themselves, working crazy overtime, blood, sweat, and tears. Not even exaggerating. That is the truth. Like to help get that show made. It's very seldom that you hear those stories.
Okay, so something we want to start asking our guests is how people got their foot in the door of animation, because everyone has a very different story, and of animation production specifically. It's all over the place. I've never heard anyone with the same story twice, and we thought it would be fun to start with us.
Natalie, how did you get your foot in the door? And it's up to you whether you want to talk about animation specifically or in the industry in general.
I'll start with animation specifically because prior to that, I was working in closed captioning for a handful of years as an actual closed captioning editor who would put headphones on and listen to what was happening on scripted shows and reality TV and type what they were saying.
You had to transcribe it live? You weren't given scripts?
Well, not for reality TV, which was like the boom, because this was 2008, 2009-ish area, and reality TV exploded. So when we got a scripted show, we would get scripts, and it was like, oh my God, God shined his face upon me and gave me a scripted show to transcribe, because most of it was reality TV, and it was so hard because there's no script, the production quality sucked, everyone's talking over each other.
Oh my God.
It was It was really hard. It was really hard. And then, so I was doing that and looking for something new. My uncle was at the time working in the development group at Sony ImageWorks. So the group that helps develop tools and technology for just all over the studio for people to use. And my aunt knew I was looking for a job. So she was like, why don't you pass Natalie's resume along? And he was like, okay, I can't like guarantee anything. I didn't have a background in film at all. I was an English major. I didn't have a cool internship anywhere. So I didn't think anything would come of it. But he passed my resume along and I got an interview for a production office coordinator position on the live action Smurfs. And I got the job. What's funny is at the time, I didn't realize how helpful that connection was. You know, my uncle tossed my resume in a pile and was like, this is my niece. She's not crazy. She's smart and probably good at her job. That was enough of a boost to get me in. And in hindsight, looking at that many, many years later, I'm like, yeah, that connection did get me in. I didn't cold apply to a job online. And so I want to talk about that more on future episodes about how people got their foot in the door, because I'm going to guess it's always some sort of connection. I don't know anybody who's just applied with no previous experience in the industry, applied online and got in. So I'd be curious just to see if that ever happens, because I think, unfortunately, having any sort of connection is really the best way to get a foot in the door.
Yeah,
I'm curious if that was your connection too, because I don't know your story yet. So now I want to hear how you got a foot in the door.
This is going way back. So in college, I had never been to LA since I was a kid with my parents. I am the daughter of a now retired airline pilot, and I did know how to book myself on flights without my parents knowing. And one of the most rebellious things I had ever done, and this just shows you also what a rebel I was as a kid, I was going to school at IU in Bloomington. I booked myself on a flight to visit my friend Nicole in LA because she had just moved out. The last leg into LA, I totally chickened out. The flight landed. I called my dad. My dad just laughed. It was so funny because he, instead of getting angry or me getting in trouble, he was so entertained by me running away to LA for a weekend from Indiana.
Wait, how old are you at this time?
Oh, goodness. I think it was actually sometime in junior year.
I love that he was just like, yeah, get it, girl. Go to LA.
Dad also loves LA. Quick side note. But essentially, I knew one person. She, at the time, helped me get an internship at Screen Gems, Stage 6, and Sony Pictures Acquisitions. I believe I was an intern all the way up until the following May, June. And it was unpaid. And I will just say I was so lucky at the time because it was not through any college credit. It was just a very cool opportunity to be able to get to know executives, sit on people's desks, do script coverage, start to learn the industry. And that essentially led me to my first PA job on set and in the office. That was like live action. And from there, things snowballed to the next, to the next, to the next.
So your friend who got you the internship, she also interning?
No, so she was an assistant to an executive. He was actually Stage 6 specifically.
Okay. And she passed along your resume and was like, this girl's awesome. Okay.
She was really sweet. I'll do a shout out, Nicole Schulte. If it weren't for you, you got my foot in the door, girl. So thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. I don't know where I'd be without you. So it occurred to me we also need to touch on how we met initially, because you and I have never worked together. I believe you popped up in my LinkedIn feed, and I was like, who is this woman? I was like, she's very entertaining. We know a lot of the same people. I started a new show in April, and my head of story, Ryan Savas, we're talking one day. Your name came up organically. It's like, hey, do you know Natalie? And I was like, oh my God, I like only follow her on LinkedIn. But she posts like really funny, digestible things about animation production. And he gave you the thumbs up. And of course, Ryan, the most sweet man you will ever meet. And so it's getting a glowing endorsement from Ryan. I was like, okay, she's good peeps. Let me reach out to her with this idea that I've been sitting on for years of just wanting to kind of talk through, shine a light on production and what we do because it is so specific and very niche. And it's inspiring hearing other people's stories at a time where the news is pretty crazy, and just wanting to find a creative outlet to be able to kind of connect with other people who do what we do. When I reached out to you on like a LinkedIn Messenger, I was like, she's going to think I'm a crazy person. She's never met me before. And it was so exciting that you responded that you would be interested in collaborating, because you have had such, again, fantastic ways of presenting the day-to-day of what we do in such charming, funny ways. And I was like, I, regardless, just need to meet this person.
I love hearing this side of the story, mostly because it involves a lot of people saying nice things about me. So thank you. It is funny that we really don't know each other at all, because at this point now I feel like, oh, we're friends. And I do love hearing that side of the story because, yeah, I mean, mutual connections obviously helped us connect, because similarly, once I heard you were cool, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, definitely a go. But it's really funny how much LinkedIn played a part in it, because I randomly started posting on LinkedIn a handful of months ago, decided as a writing exercise, I wanted to do more things where I would write and post things anywhere. It didn't matter what the content was or where I posted it. I just to kind of exercise that muscle of not overthinking when I was writing, like working on personal projects. Because usually I'd just be home click-clacking on a screenplay and no one would ever see it, right? So this was just something I wanted to try, and messing around on Substack with various topics, and on Instagram posting about another creative project I'm helping someone with. And then I was like, well, you know what? I could post on LinkedIn about animation. That could be fun. It felt very boomery to like write posts for LinkedIn. There's a part of it that seems sort of silly, but which is why it was easy for me to do, because I'm like, no one's going to read this. It's perfect. It'll be a great way to just practice writing. And I have been so surprised at the traction I've gotten on there, or connections and replies and people reaching out about various things. It's really surprised me, and goes to show like people want more content around animation production, I think. So when you reached out, I did not think you were a crazy person. It was a very well-written, professional email pitching this idea. And I was like, hell yeah, let's start a podcast.
We're going to end each episode with a rotating question to kick us off.
Okay, Alexis, I do feel like we should ask the question, what's your favorite animated movie, since this is a podcast about animation?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Hands down, Beauty and the Beast. Was very mad that they, at the time, made the movie without me. I remember my parents thought that was very funny. How about you? What's your favorite animated film?
It's funny, I asked the question and then I got stressed out. Whenever I'm asked that question, I always go, I don't know, do I have a favorite animated movie? But I think, kind of in a similar vein, I would choose The Little Mermaid, because it's just like the first animated movie I remember being really into. You know, I was a kid when it came out and sang all the songs all the time. And so, yeah, that one is special to me. Well, that's a wrap on episode 1. We did it.
Woo!
It only took us 6 months, 7 months. It has been a learning experience. It's been kind of scary to do this and put it out into the world, but we're really excited to share it with you guys. And we wanted the first episode to be kind of a quick little intro to who we are as your podcast hosts. But get ready, because we got a lot of fun content coming up. The next episode will answer the question, what is production? We've got an episode where we get to share some things we did at Lightbox a couple months ago. And then we're going to start having guests, which is really exciting. Did I miss anything, Alexis?
No, I think that was a really great wrap up. It's just really surreal to kind of have the first one almost done. It's been a journey.
Yeah, it's so much harder than I thought it would be. I feel like if you had told me how much work I was going to have to put into it, I might not have signed up. But it's also really fun. So I'm excited for this podcast to get even better.
Me too. And I think we were talking about this a little earlier this evening. Having a creative outlet is so satisfying. It's been such a fun challenge, and it's just exciting to practice, I guess, what we get paid to do, but for our own content of producing from literally pre-production all the way to post. And I do just also want to apologize to every engineer I've worked with. We did buy our mics several months into doing exploratory recordings, some of which we used and some of which does sound a little funky. So I promise you, we finally honed in on the mics that are a lot better and will cooperate and come with us on site and at home. So apologies to all the technical people who may be listening. Just know it only gets better from here.
Yes, I agree. I'm looking forward to more fun on this podcast and increasingly better audio quality.
Yes, we have learned that we are both sticklers about audio quality. Nat, I just want to say a huge thank you for agreeing to do this and seeing what's going to happen. And it's just, no matter what happens, it's an honor to be kind of on this roller coaster together.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Even if nobody listens to this besides my parents, I'm having a lot of fun with you. So thank you for inviting me to do it.
I love you, Mom and Dad.
We'll see you all next week.
You've been listening to The Production Desk. We are our own producers. Original music by Marcus Taylor.
If you have a moment, we'd love a review wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find The Production Desk on Instagram and Facebook.
For any episode ideas, please reach out.